I'm Harrison Graham. It's time for a Chicago Bears Now mailbag. More problems. I see the spelling there. If the Bears keep losing, could DJ Moore get traded before the deadline? A couple people did ask some questions in the comments about this, so I did want to lead off this mailbag about the DJ Moore. Could you trade him? Could you not? Listen, if you ask me right now, gun to my head, is DJ Moore on this team next year? I would say no. Now, that could change. We're 2 weeks into this season. They did make a big investment in him, but as we've discussed, you can trade him with some dead cap penalty after this year, but nothing that would bury your books. Roma Dunze seems to be emerging as your top receiver moving forward. My gut tells me this would be his last year. Now, would it happen during the season? Before the year, I didn't really consider that possibility, even though people had asked me about it. He's been fine through 2 games. I mean, for wide receiver 2 numbers, these are, certainly fine, right? I mean, 4 catches for 57 yards. That's kind of what you would expect out of a wide receiver 2. That's what he's averaging per game right now. They've brought him out of the backfield a few times. But if you are losing, let's say you're 2-6 at the deadline and Luther Burden's coming along and you just want to give him a full-time role, some team offers you a day 2 pick, it'd be hard to say no, right? Especially if it's a second-round pick. Don't think you'd get a 1, but I do think it's at least worth discussing at this point. He doesn't seem as engaged as he once was here. But more than that, it's like if Rome's your top guy and you kind of have an over-influx of receivers and moving forward, you want to spend some money on other positions like pass rusher, left tackle, running back, trading DJ Moore to help you acquire players at different positions could make some sense. So I do think it's possible. I think it probably would only happen if one of 2 things happen. 1, you're just really bad and you're a seller at the deadline. 2, is there a scenario where you'd flip him for another player at a position of need, a corner, a pass rusher? Wouldn't rule that out either. So I still wouldn't bet on a midseason trade, but I wouldn't bet against it either. I think it's on the board as a possibility. Should the Bears trade DJ Moore? I want to hear from you. Would you just trade him? Type Y for yes, type in for no. I wouldn't today, but ask me again in 5 or 6 weeks because I think depending on how the next few weeks go, the chances could increase. Adunze NBA, #Bears. Do you think the Bears can still make the playoffs? Yeah, of course. Again, I wouldn't bet on it. In fact, I'd probably bet against it. Just statistically, if you start 0-2, your chances aren't great. But winnable games coming up. Dallas, Raiders, Commanders feels more winnable on the road than it did before the season. Really, your only really tough game on paper over the next 7 or so games is at Baltimore. That's obviously going to be very difficult. But like at Cincinnati, no Joe Burrow. Saints at home, game you should win. So you got winnable games. Need to beat Dallas, though. Like, this is probably one of your tougher ones, to be honest, over the next few weeks. Justin Baker, what's the stat of the game that decides the game? I'd say explosives. Big plays. Who makes more of them? Bears just gave up way too many big plays against Detroit. Way, way too many. Dallas gave up a lot against the Giants. Who can generate more big ones? And then obviously, the typical stats, turnovers, red zone, 3rd and 4th down, penalties. That's another one. The Bears are just killing themselves with penalties. Got to play a cleaner game. I think it starts there. Appreciate all the questions. We'll continue to answer them here. We go live every Monday, Thursday, and game day and interact with all of you. Daily content on the channel, live 3 times per week, live interaction with you guys, shorts, YouTube Shorts as well. We're doing it all here on Chicago Bears Now. We'd love it if you joined us for this journey. All you got to do is subscribe and turn on notifications. Super chat from Poppy Chulo Sits. Appreciate the deuce. Passing on Tyler Warren was a mistake. I liked him more before the draft. I came around to why they chose Loveland, 2 years younger, more natural route runner receiving type. Longer arms, long-term projects as a better blocker. And I actually think he's been pretty good as a blocker. So I still think the upside is probably higher with Loveland. But so far, Warren's clearly been the better player. So time will tell. Hopefully they get Loveland more involved. The Lego Empire, what do you think about our safety situation? I would not be surprised to see a trade in the offseason. Yeah, I mean, listen, none of your rostered safeties are under contract. A coming into the year, I kind of thought, okay, one of Kevin Byard or Jaquan Brisker will be here next year. Still think that could happen. Byard did not play well in week 2. It's his age catching up to him. That's certainly possible. The good news for Brisker is he's been healthy. The bad news is he's played fine, but he certainly hasn't, elevated to another step in his game. We'll see how he plays the rest of the year. I could see one or even both of Elijah Hicks and Jonathan Owens returning as backups. They're not going to cost a lot of money, and they're fine as backups. But I would think, at minimum, at least one new starting safety is on this team next year, whether that's in the draft or free agency or via trade. Guys, we got Awesome Bears hoodie available for you guys right here. We got an insane deal as well. This bad boy was $80 once upon a time. Right now, $48. It's just clean, too. Chris got the orange liner on the inside and the drawstrings as well. Love that look. Chatsports.com/Chicago hoodie. Chatsports.com/Chicago hoodie. That puppy is like 40% off. Do not miss this deal. It's awesome. I might get one myself. Chatsports.com/Chicago hoodie. Say quads, Barkley. Should we be calling the Texans about Dameon Pierce or Cam Robinson? We discussed Robinson a lot in the preseason. Pierce isn't getting much snaps now, and they're not running the football effectively, so I think that says a lot. I think before you'd go the Cam Robinson route, you would try someone else that you currently have, like a Theo Benedict. So right now, I would say probably not. Matt Bellick, the Cowboys have Jack Sanborn dropping into coverage a lot. Wan'Dale Robinson seemed to exploit it. Is that a matchup we can finally get Loveland or Burden have their breakout game? I think so. I think in general, the Cowboys linebackers aren't very good. Sanborn coming downhill is a solid player, but he's not great in coverage just because of his athletic profile. Good instincts, as we saw with the Bears, but you can find mismatches on him. I think both Bears tight ends, receivers in the slot, if they're dropping him, I think that's an area to attack. Kenneth Murray's not much better. I think the middle of the field against these linebackers, I think is an area to exploit if you are Ben Johnson and obviously Caleb Williams and these weapons executing the plays. Who you got in this one? Bears, Cowboys, who wins? Type CHI for Chicago, DAL for Dallas. If you can win this game, you can really get this thing back on track. This season is not over at this point in time, so hopefully the Bears can find a way to win at home. PD, hashtag Bears. If Caleb doesn't work out, should Ben get to pick his own quarterback? Yeah, look, I think we're far, far, far away from that. I think Caleb is improving, and we're going to talk about that if you're watching live in the next segment. But, I would think that in the scenario where Caleb's not the guy, Ben Johnson would have heavy, if not almost sole control of who the next QB is in terms of who's available, whether it's the draft, whether it's free agency, whether it's a trade. I think, honestly, the first guy they would try is Bagent. They did extend him. And that's another thing. I just want to mention this as well. A lot of people out there in the media, fans, et cetera, have said they extended Tyson Bagent. They did that for a reason. Yeah, they did do that for a reason. Part of it is they just really like the guy, and he's a good backup and a good teammate, and he's reliable. Part of it could be that, hey, it's a security blanket. But, guys, he's under contract now through 2027. You don't have to be like, well, if we don't try Bagent now, then when? You've got 2 extra years. So if we get to the middle of next season or something and it's just not working with Caleb, try Bagent then. Week 3 this year, we are far away from needing to go that route. Okay, that's number one. So I do think the next guy they would try, if it wasn't Caleb, would be Tyson Bagent. But I don't think we're that close to that being the case. I just don't. Shout out Matt Pilot here. Do we know what's going on with Kyler Gordon? Is he going to play this weekend? Not practicing through Thursday. Depending on when you're watching this, maybe he practiced Friday. I'd be shocked if he played this week. And it's unfortunate because there's a chance he wouldn't play next week. And if that's the case, you would have liked to short-term IR him. But he woke up the day before the game and his hamstring was tight, and I think they had already missed the window of when you can place him on short-term IR. So, it's just brutal, man. I like Kyler a lot, and I agreed with the extension, but these soft tissue things do pop up with him, and not ideal because, I would argue after Jalen Johnson, he's your second-best player. And, oh, by the way, Jalen Johnson's likely out for the year. So Your two best players have basically not played this year, and one of them isn't going to play this year in all likelihood in Jalen. So, not great. All right, appreciate all the questions that you guys fired in. Tried to get to as many as possible. DMs are open. Ask me over there at HGramNFL, Twitter, Instagram. Give me a follow. DM me. We could talk ball on social media at HGramNFL.